Welcome back to Laptops and Drinks. Woo! We've got a special guest today, but I'll introduce him in a minute. I'm Sharon.
I'm Shads.
I'm Anne-Marie.
And I'm Davina.
And today we're joined by...
Des.
Please don't forget to follow us on all social media platforms. We're now on YouTube. You can catch us on Spotify and also Apple. So, what are we drinking today? Shads?
Well, I am drinking a salted caramel vodka with cacao
Oh,
and Sprite. So the salted caramel vodka came from St. Lucia. For those of you who, big up the St. Lucians in the place. So yeah, it came
Mr. Grenada.
yeah, so it came from Hotel Chocolat in St. Lucia.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Looks
tastes
very
delicious.
refreshing.
Yeah, tastes delicious.
Anne-Marie, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking a pink gin, so I'm still on the alcohol, and yeah, it's nice and refreshing today.
Oh, did you not have alcohol last week?
I did the time before, but not the previous episodes. It's
Yeah,
all a
yeah.
bit, yeah.
No, I mean, you had alcohol last
Yeah,
week.
I did.
So as soon as I'm not here, you start drinking.
Yes.
It's understandable.
Yeah.
Then
you know
again,
what?
you know
where
the
that's
reason
going.
why
You know
I'm
where that's
drinking.
going. You know where that's
That's
going. She's saying you needed to drink to get through the episode.
Without me.
Davina, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking Malibu and pineapple today. Thinking of the islands and the sun and the sea breeze.
Des, what are you drinking?
I actually have no idea. I just know it's some orange soft drink thing. With no ice, all the way from Marks and Spencer.
The salsa juice.
If you had to, if you
It's so
taste the drink, what does it taste like?
Tastes warm.
It tastes warm.
What's the flavours?
I think there's a passion fruit in there somewhere, but I
No.
don't know, man.
Would you drink it again?
I'll try it again, yeah. But next time you have to put some H2O in it, cube H2O. Put some ice in there.
Listen to this
This
guy.
room temperature drinks, man.
Okay, so you're drinking something.
Yeah, some passion fruit something.
Okay, but it's got no alcohol in there.
No, it's got no alcohol in it.
Okay, real. I'm still on the green tea with the slash of orange juice, killing the taste buds, but it's nice. It's nice. So, it's still June, still celebrating men, mental health, and in celebration of that, we have our Des joining us today that's going to be involved in some of our conversations from our lovely ball, where we just pick up some random conversations. But before we get to that, we have a game.
Oh, Lord.
Yes. And it's called Rapid Fire.
Oh.
Yeah?
Ready?
And so we've had conversations just before we start record, and Des and Shads have been the ones that have volunteered for
Well,
this.
Shads didn't volunteer.
Yeah,
Shads didn't volunteer either.
Shads volunteered for this.
Des, you're
So,
doing it.
okay, I'll describe what it is. So it's a fast-paced Q&A game where I ask you a bunch of quick questions and you have to answer instantly, yeah?
Okay.
No overthinking, no long explanations. It's all about instinct and fun.
Okay.
Yeah? Okay. Des, ready?
Go on.
What's something you're proud of but would never put on your CV?
I've never been arrested.
What's the prettiest reason you've ever ghosted someone? Pettiest, sorry.
Because they had fluff on the side of their mouth. You know that little thing there?
Which lie did you tell the most often?
I'm coming. Like I'm reaching to places. This is terrifying. This is terrifying.
I've seen come.
I'll be there. I'll soon come. Where's your man going?
It wasn't going where you, yeah. What's the one thing? My eyes are watering, I can't even read properly. What's the one thing you're glad your ex never found out about?
I don't know actually.
Okay, pick one. Cheat, get cheated on, or never date again.
Never date again.
If a genie gave you one wish right now, what are you wishing for?
Money.
If you were a drink, what would you be?
Coke.
What instantly gives you the ick?
Dirty trainers.
I'm feeling the same with that. Who is the one person you have never listened to?
I was going to say my wife, but I can't say that. Ignorant people. I have to
Okay.
put it.
One conspiracy theory you kind of believe.
Jesus is black. All that heat. Sorry.
You did well.
The blue eyes. Yeah. All that heat. Come
There was
on.
only one you didn't answer actually.
Which was that?
What's the one thing you're glad your ex never found out about?
I don't know, because there's so much.
Okay. Let's not get you into
How
trouble.
crazy I was.
Okay. Shad, you ready?
No, I'm not.
But you had time.
No, I'm not. I didn't. Okay, let's just do it.
Right, let's just do it. What's something you're proud of but never put on your CV?
That I had a child young.
Okay. What's the pettiest reason you've ever ghosted someone?
Hold on, I'm getting the same question.
Yeah,
I didn't realise
that's
that.
it. Oh, there you go.
Oh, because they say I'm okay instead of I'm okay. I can't stand
see,
it.
she had it prepared, man. What's the one thing you're glad your ex never found out about?
That I'm a superstar.
Hey.
I'm a good gal.
Yeah.
I used to be a wicked gal,
Alright.
but I'm a good gal.
Pick one. Cheat, get cheated on, or never date again.
Never date again. Got principles.
If a genie gave you one wish right now, what are you wishing for?
More wishes.
Oh.
Okay.
Ooh. One conspiracy.
Unlimited wishes.
What
yeah.
conspiracy theory do you kind of believe?
I believe what Des said. Yeah, Jesus is black. Yeah. Power.
What instantly gives you the ick?
I'm okay. Yeah.
Oh, now we know what we need to do. Okay, so we've got a bit of time. We're just going to pick out some random things out of the bowl and see where those conversations take us. It's only right that we let our guests go first.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Do I have to read it out?
Yes,
Yeah,
please. How are we going to know?
Best sentences.
Dang. All right. Friendships between men and women have always sparked curiosity, side eyes, and long-winded think pieces. Are they genuine? Do they always lead to something more? Can they survive without someone catching feelings, or worse, the dreaded situationship zone? Damn. Didn't even warm it up. Just mentioned. That's a long sentence, people. Man. Damn.
Yeah, but you did well. What's your thoughts?
I do believe men and women can be friends.
Yeah.
And it be platonic. I do think that it is something that can happen. It's just, yeah, it depends on the men and the women as well. And the situation in, if you've got a partner, if you haven't got a partner. You know?
Okay.
And it also tells about how they view relationships and how they think they should interact, because I think it's also a lot about what other people think. Because, you know, you can have two people that are really good friends and they really think, oh, they're dealing with each other. And it's like, well, it's not even that. But I do think it can happen. But, yeah.
But do you think there's a conversation needed, like, between that man and a woman, or it can just naturally develop?
I think sometimes it depends on them. Sometimes it can naturally develop. It's just like, yeah, man, I've seen too much of you, man. I don't want nothing. But I think it depends on some of the. If one person thinks the other person is catching themes a bit much, then you kind of have to say, listen, you know what? You know me and you are friends. And they have to do little hints like, you know me and you's good brethren still. You know we're cool innit? You know what I mean? But I think it has to be, you have to do that. Some of it can just naturally evolve.
But you know, I've heard situations where even though you've kind of said you're still hinting, some people still find the courage to say, I'm going to share my feelings with my friend, don't they? And they still kind of, I think we kind of talked it on previous episodes.
This episode,
Yeah, you still kind of think, I'm going to share it because it's overwhelming you, and you just want to, just in case you think actually they might be, you still, so even though you're hinting, it sometimes might not work. Right?
I mean, generally as men, we're useless at really recognising signs most of the time. It's like, you know she likes you, innit?
Does she?
And we're just like, what are you chatting about, man? But so I think it sometimes is how us men view ourselves, because some of us view ourselves like, no girl's going to want us. And then at certain times, like, yeah, girl, love me. But most of the time, it's just like, yeah, I'm not really sure about that.
Don't you think it's about context though? I think it's a little bit about the context of how they became friends. Yes, I believe men and women can be friends, and I think you can have a strictly platonic relationship with a man and a woman. I guess it depends on how they kind of met, because you also have the guys who become your friends when they're friend zoned. So initially they was looking you. So you have the ones where initially one party was looking the next party, and then they realize, actually, do you know what? I think we could really get along as friends, and realize there's no romantic spark there at that time. And then they just end up having a friendship where you could have friends where you maybe work with them and just get to know their personality, and they just become more of just, they strictly your platonic friend. You just get along, you have the same sort of character. So I think context is important. I think there could be both.
Yeah. But do you think, like, in those situations that that person who, so you've met someone, you know, you actually realise nothing's going to happen there. Because one person's always going to be feeling less, isn't there? So can that person who said, so if you said, like, if me and you met and you friend zone me and I'm like, oh, but I still like you, but I've just...
Then you need to respect yourself. And if you realise that it's not that I'm not on that, then you would have to respect yourself and either choose, if I can't be a platonic friend in the true sense of the word, then we can't be friends.
Yeah.
Like, because sometimes it comes to the point where you might like somebody, but you know that you can't deal with just being their friend. You have more of an interest in them, and they haven't got that towards you. So respect yourself. Step away.
Yeah, they got that advice. Respect yourself.
And remember, work is not a dating pool.
Okay.
It's not.
Okay.
It's not a dating pool, because I have that thing where, you know, when you're at work and you remember, some guys are like, rah, there's nothing. It's like, dude, you're at work. This is not time for you to
People
start.
think that.
Yeah.
Work is the place where I wear no makeup. I don't see no one to keeping my eyes open.
We spend most of our time.
Yeah.
Well,
and like
my yard is most of my time.
Maybe now, but it's a time where it's a place where we spend most of our time engaging with people more than we spend at home. So actually, I don't even know if they're going to see your worst or your best, but you know,
it's opportunity though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's 7 hours a day potentially. I know we're not working the same way as we used to, but we're working 35 hours a week. You've got access to somebody. In some ways, the fact that you work for the same organisation takes away that first barrier, isn't it? So at least you can have that conversation.
True.
So if people are single, I can see a situation where people be like, oh yeah, well, who's around?
And if you're vulnerable, right? If you're somebody who like catches feelings very quick, you know, any person who just talks to you.
Or breathes on you.
Should we get married? Should we get married?
Babies.
Okay, should we go to that side of the room?
Go on
You
then.
might have to stretch it down there. Or pick something whatever's
Thank
easier.
you. Have you ever had a friendship fall apart because emotions got too real or not real enough? Is that kind of similar to what he's kind of said? No?
Because that's like about relationships, isn't it?
It falling apart
this one
because of
before,
emotions.
Yeah, that can be same-sex friendship, doesn't have to be.
Read that again.
Have you ever had a friendship fall apart because emotions got too real or not real enough?
Yeah, I'd say yes.
Which one?
In what way?
In the sense of having a friendship where I'm kind of like a straight shooter in regards to kind of you know, and sometimes I've been told off for it before in the sense of I'll say something because it's the truth and I stand on the truth, but sometimes not everybody receives the truth very well.
Okay.
Although I'm very mindful of how I try to deliver that truth, because I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. I'm trying to be honest, because I'm doing you a disservice if I'm dishonest with you about a particular situation pertaining to that person. And that person wasn't able to be real enough kind of with me, but I understood that they couldn't even be real with themselves, so how could I expect them to be real with me? And it didn't serve purpose in regards to having that friendship, because it felt like a job, it felt like work, and it felt like one-sided work from me. And yeah, I ain't got time for that.
So you stopped being friends?
Yeah, in that sense. It wasn't no like whole dramatic thing. It was more around, I don't think you're in this sort of space. I'm in this space at the moment. I don't have the capacity to deal with that. If you can't be real with yourself and you can't be real with me, then I don't see where we're going to go from here. So it's all love, but love from a distance.
How does that work for guys.
Dude, sometimes we're just friends and then we're not. It's just like, I used to check for you, they'll check for you. It's done. Because the way that guys become friends is different. Because you can become friends from just seeing a man every other day. It's like, yeah, what you saying? Yeah. What you saying? Yeah, you cool? Yeah, what you saying? Yeah, man, we on.
People
When
When does the conversation take place?
The conversation, that is the conversation. It becomes that, and then one day you meet and you stop saying, so what are you saying? Yeah, man, I'm cool, what's going on? Even though you don't know each other,
Yeah.
you have that conversation and then you become friends
Yeah.
from just seeing each other.
Okay.
So it happens the same way, like, I've had friends that I went college with and everything like that.
Yeah.
And over the course of time, it just drifted off because it was just like, dude, I call you, but you're not available or you're doing this. And it becomes like you're getting taken advantage of.
Okay.
And one thing I hate is calling people and they don't answer you back. And then
Okay.
you see them with next man and you're thinking, what, you couldn't call me then? What's going
Women
on?
are like that as well.
Huh?
Women are like
I
that
was
as
about
well.
to say,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
similar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we feel the same way, because we feel like an idiot if we're calling someone and you're not answering.
But I guess the difference
Yeah.
is, do you call someone out on that? Like, as a guy, would you, if you're someone you've been friends with for years and currently, and you see they're just kind of acting differently,
We call them out.
Do you check in on them to see like
Yeah.
whether they're well? Because sometimes it also might be other things going on. Or do you just be like, this guy's acting?
No, generally with my group of friends, we usually check in each other.
Oh, okay.
So if I ain't hear you, because one of my friends, I've got a rule, if I don't hear from you in 2 weeks, I'm going to call you.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And then he will
That's
call
good.
me. So if I don't hear you, I'm going to check
That
in.
is
And it's
nice.
not. It doesn't even have to be a long conversation, just like,
Yeah.
yo, what you saying? Because there's a lot of man can read from a yo and what guan. And
Yes.
then
Well, what can they read from that?
we can read
There's
a whole
more-
heap.
there's more.
That's,
Yeah.
that's a whole inner
Tell-
conversation.
Tell her, what
Whole
is,
tone.
what?
You know, I can ring one of my boys and he can just go hello and I'm like, yo, what's wrong?
Okay.
Just from the tone.
All right.
Or you can phone me. Even the way I pick up the phone, he's like, "You all right?" I'm like, "No, man, I'm fed up right now." And that's how we
Okay.
read things, you know. But that's how we do it. But usually you have to check in your boy, and if your boy is being a little bit sideways, then you have to kind of leave him to himself, and you have to say, "Listen, you know what? I'm not really feeling how you're getting on, so let's just take time, and I'll catch you up." And usually we say, "Well, we'll catch you later," which means later.
What, later or
Later.
never?
Like
Later.
whenever.
If we see you on the street, it's like, yeah, spud and everything, but it's not the same way.
It's not the same
Okay.
vibes.
Okay.
Do you think women are different?
Yes.
We get
yes.
in our feelings, right?
I think
About
they
Yeah.
do.
it.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot more of a dialogue.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised
Yeah.
that it for them is like they've got shortcut. There's a code.
Yeah.
Like you pick up the signs, you read the signs, you keep it moving. But it's also, it feels like it's all love. With us, I think we get in our feelings.
More
and it's
emotive,
not that,
yeah. And we cut
it's
you
not that
off.
ours is very,
bit
I think
bitchy,
we're very
right?
emotive.
Yeah.
I don't get me wrong, man can be bitchy too.
Don't we know it?
Some man can get in their feelings too. Yeah, he's like, Roger, really? Is that how you're getting on?
But do you see or hear that from people? Like, is that you observing someone's behaviour, or is that them telling you what they've done?
Bit of both.
Okay.
Because I observe, so I look at him like, okay, that's how you
Moving
do it.
bookie.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you know what's interesting? There's this thing going around on social media. I don't know if anyone's seen it, where men are calling their friends to say
I
goodnight.
had saw that.
Yeah, has anyone
I've
seen that? So the men will just call them and say, like, "Yo, bro, what are you doing? You have to get ready for bed right now." So I'm just saying to say goodnight. Some might say goodnight, sweet dreams. And the friends will be like, some of them will be like, go and call your gal. Why are you calling me? like, why are you telling me good night? But you can tell the difference, because some will be like, well, there was one that I saw and the guy was like, I'm putting it on FaceTime. Go on FaceTime now. Go on FaceTime. And change it to FaceTime. And he goes, no, I just need to see that you're good. I want to make sure you wasn't going to hurt yourself. Well, you're calling me to say good night. Obviously, that friend thought something more into it. So you never call me to say good night. You're calling me to say good night. Now, is this, does this mean something else?
Yeah.
And change the call to FaceTime to check on his boy, to make sure that he wasn't doing anything to harm himself or anything along those
Well,
lines.
maybe we could learn something from the men, you know, like in terms of being less emotive and having a bit of a code.
Yeah, but
I
you have
agree.
girl code too. So you lot do
Yeah,
have
but
girl
It
code.
sometimes
goes the
the
long
go
way
code-
around though.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
you lot got lots of-
it can be deep.
You lot got
'Cause then
lots
we
of
end up going
stipulations.
yeah, we end up going to speak to someone else about something
Yeah.
that somebody else did,
Yeah.
I
whereas the
know.
guys aren't doing that,
They're
are
not
There's a
they?
doing
lot of
that.
ice cream involved
And
as
the thing
well.
is, I
You
think
lot-
Ice cream's involved.
we do a
right?
lot of hypothesizing. Like,
Yeah.
I wonder if it's this. I wonder if
Yeah,
it's
or
that.
did I do
So
something?
then
Yeah.
you start
Yeah.
reading into like, what about this? And it becomes a thing where you're just, as Sharon said, isn't it easier than just to go and have the conversation?
Yeah, but,
Figure out.
but men do that too. Where we do the thing where me and my friends, we used to be able to analyze situations. Certain things going, man used to sit in the car, you sit in the car on the estate, not doing anything, but just sitting in the car. And man would just analyze the situation.
People watching.
People watching, we just be analysing situations and like, yo, so what happened when they did this? Yeah, but then, but you see, and we just analyse it. So it becomes a natural thing for us. So when I meet someone, I'm just analysed the whole thing. Like my wife complains about the whole time. If we have any kind of argument, she's like, "How come you can see everything already?" I said, "Because in my mind, I've practiced it. So everything's like a computer screen. It goes up there.
It's the logic, isn't it?
The
Yeah.
logic
Black and
kicks
white.
in.
Yeah.
Low volume gets in because people get vexed and start to get high.
Yeah.
My volume goes down. Like, oh, so is that what you're telling me? Okay. And because of what I do, I use pace a lot. So I'm pacing everybody.
You're pacing.
I'm a
The thing
pacer.
is, you're rare then, no? Would you say
No,
you're rare?
because there's men out there. There's lots of men out there. When you speak to them, it's just like, yo, they don't really, because a lot of people don't realize they're using pace anyway,
Yes.
But not naming it.
but not naming it. But I use it all the time. So sometimes it's just like my wife will go, I know you're pacing me. I'm like,
Are we going to tell our viewers what pace is?
Oh, I was going to wonder who was going to say that. People might be asking, what's pace?
I never remember the letters, I just-
Playful, acceptance, curiosity, and empathy.
All right, let's leave that there.
yeah, we don't need to give away the secrets. It's
No. Google it. Who's next? There you go.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
All right.
This thing's quite heavy to
It
move
is.
up and down,
Yeah.
right? I have to pick some for somebody.
I might need to use a couple of
Some weights.
Yeah, it is. Feel that way.
What do your friendships look like now compared to when you were younger?
Most of them are
You see,
still
I
the
love
same.
how you just knew
Yeah.
it was for you.
Most of them are still the same. I have a core group of boys that I can call on, core group of girls that I can call on and stuff, friends. There's some when I grew up with, and it's funny because I was saying this on the way, and I was like, yeah, I need to analyse it because there's certain boys I used to hang with, and then things changed. Like one of them was my really good friend, and then I got into a fight with our other friend, and he just switched on me right there in school, and I was just like, okay, that's how you're going on. Forget it. And this was, you'd be around each other's houses. I switched, and then I think it was when I met a couple of boys, and we just became boys. It was just like, all right, that's us. And even up to now, in our old age and everything, we're still linking each other.
That's nice.
Going out on the 20th, going watch 2 hip hop being played and stuff like that. We still link each other, and families still meet and everything. So we still have a core group, but it doesn't mean that I don't have room for new friends.
Oh, okay.
Because I play basketball, I have my own friends around there. So you have different pockets of friends. So some can't never meet. It's like, no, that's not going to meet. That one's not going to meet. But I still have a core group of friends. So there's core people who call me, and I call them all the time. If something happens, I'm getting a phone call. I had a phone call yesterday about my ankle. Yo, what are you saying? What's happened to your Achilles? And they send me stuff to try and fix it. So there's still people that kind of check in with you, and I check in with people.
That's nice.
What, anyone else?
I mean, yeah, definitely. I think I've got friends that I've had, like since college. And I'm still friends with them now. And I think we've kind of talked about it before that, like as you get older about friends, do you actually get friendships as you get older in terms of what that means and are they meaningful? But I think you can. I think it depends on the circle. And if you're with like-minded people, I think that definitely makes a difference. And if it aligns, the people that you're with, you've got the same values and it aligns, I think that definitely does make a big difference.
And also whether they're growing as well, right?
Yeah.
Because nothing stays stagnant.
Stagnant, no.
So
Yeah.
you're obviously kind of growing at the same pace that you can continue to maintain friendships. Okay. Who's next? Have I done one?
No, you haven't, no.
Okay, gosh. Right. If your exes were all stuck in a room together, what would they say about you? Davina.
Exes.
I'm a lovely person.
He crazy.
Yeah, like
Are you crazy?
He crazy.
Davina, what would they say about you, Davina?
balanced, level-headed.
All positives.
The one that got away.
They're lost.
Yes.
She's not joking, folks. She's not telling no lies.
I don't think she practiced that.
Just sending out subliminals. For all the exes.
I don't think of anything bad though.
Oh,
Gosh.
right, you can't. You just leave that there. Whatever you said, just leave that right there.
No, I agree
Mic
with you.
drop.
Yeah.
Much.
You got to come better now.
Yeah.
No, I don't know if I can come better, but I would say the same thing. I think if they'd say the one who got away, because I'm that girl. Okay.
Say it.
With
chess.
With chess because you try circle, so I know. They would say I'm very. It depends on what season in my life they met me because I was very strong-headed. I've been a very strong-headed person, but the older I get, or more so, I would say in the last in the last 9 months or so, I've been really oozing more into my feminine energy.
Soft girl era.
Yeah. So I've been oozing into that more rather than being quite a dominant female in that sort of sense. And I'm liking it here. So, yeah. Sharon?
Sharon. You tried to
Sharon
get
skipped
away
I was
past
with
looking at
that
Sharon
one. What would they say?
What did they say?
This how was complicated. I'm giving you honest answer.
Mine is honest.
So is mine.
Yeah, each their own. Complicated. Wasn't always honest. And
That was a big side dish.
The gasp.
No
Have a
teeth.
drink.
they sometimes didn't know where they stood with me.
Oh, thank you for being vulnerable.
lovely,
That's
yeah.
That's
something
really
completely different.
Oh yeah, no, I did the work, man. So I know.
Do you know what? Yeah, that should be Sharon's slogan. Sharon, you always mention about doing the work,
Yeah.
which is a very important thing to do. I think that should be your slogan, Sharon.
In all
doing the
aspects
work.
of life.
But she's
Yeah,
so
yeah,
real
yeah.
though.
Yeah.
And it wasn't humorous. It was real.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
Yeah. She was honest.
I meant to joke about that,
Do
but
you have any
yeah.
apologies you want to send out there?
I don't know. You know what?
Listen, I'm really sorry. That's the one time.
No, that's the thing. Like one of the things, like I've always done my apologies. I've always gone back and apologised for my
Okay,
behaviour.
that's
My part. I can't be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not going back 10, 20 years later.
Bun that.
Yeah. That ship has truly sailed. But no, yeah, that's what they would have probably said. Yeah.
You lot are doing it arms day.
Mhm.
Thank you. Do you think men and women communicate differently in friendships, or is it just how we were raised?
In friendships.
Yeah.
Oh, like men with their men friends and women with women friends, or
Well, I
men and
don't
women
know.
with
It's about-
Relationships, maybe.
It's just
It's about how you
Just
hear that.
different.
Yeah, how do you hear it?
Yeah.
Do you think men and
Can you
women...
read it out? Can you read it out again?
Sure. Do you think men and women communicate differently in friendships, or is it just how we were raised?
Yeah. So, yeah, I get that. I mean, I hear that as like, you know, when friends are together, how much of that is about the sex communicating, or how much of that is your own upbringing that influences those conversations? Like, I think if I'm around friends, whether it's male, female, some of that is going to be about my upbringing. Some of that is going to be about my life experiences. And some of that is just going to be about the crap that's being talked about. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's necessarily... I don't know, is it a male... I don't know, is it a male... There are some men that can't communicate very well.
And some
Yeah.
women that can't as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Just depends.
but is that a male thing or a female thing? That might be just their experiences in
I
life.
think it's some of the experiences, because I know some females who struggle to communicate because that's what they've been taught and they've modelled and seen. You know, I come from a house where my dad communicated a different way to how I communicate. Where I'd walk in the house and he'd just be like, ah, and I'd be like, cool. And then they cut off the conversation, which
Yeah.
is not me, because I like to make sure that we have the conversation and everything is explored and done. But I think with some women, they just don't know because they haven't been modelled that way.
Yeah.
You know, and then there's others who can't stop talking.
Yeah, like I know that I've sometimes been in environments where, because I feel because I've had therapy and I'm quite open about sharing about my own past and history and life experience, that I sometimes go in a room and expect others to be the same, but actually, like, some people just can't go there
No.
in terms of being that vulnerable and sharing about their own experiences, and some like to just get to know you before they get to do that. So it really depends on. I don't think it's as black and white that it's male or female or upbringing. It can't be. It's all of that.
A combination, isn't
Yeah.
it?
And it's what their experiences as well, because you know, some people, you take a little bit of while to get to know you before they think, I can share this, and you have to peel it like onion and just say, all right, get a piece. And then others just put the whole book out and just say,
I
just
know.
read everything. I'm just like, okay, that page, flip, no.
But do you think people who are not like that are more judgmental of people who are? Because actually, I remember one time being in a room with someone, and actually I knew this woman's life story in a matter of 5 minutes, and I was just like, wow. And actually, how she then ended off the conversation was that, you know, she's done so much work on herself and she's had so much therapy. It's easy to talk about things in her life. And I was like, I was left in there thinking, well, it's not necessarily that, you know, you've done the therapy and that's great, you can talk, but actually she didn't give anyone, she didn't think about how her sharing experiences might impact on others and how they might digest
It's like she
that.
was dumping.
Yeah.
You know, like people who give too much too soon.
Yeah. It was just like verbal
They need to do
diarrhea.
more work.
But you know, she felt like she was doing the work and she was able to share, and I was
That
left
is the
like,
work.
I want to be part of it.
Especially depending on where you are. Like if you're in a funeral, this is not the place for you to come. Same way, if we're in the club, listen, I'm trying to listen to the DJ. I don't want to hear your whole life story. How
I
he left
hate when
you.
you're out and someone's just chatting in your ears the whole time and you're enjoying
Innit?
music.
Plus the spit in your ear as well.
Yes.
You're like,
but it's funny because you see, you know, when you go club and you see it a lot, people like chatting. I'm like, how are you just like
The little
taking in
odd,
the
the little
music?
odd conversations,
yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
But when
It's
somebody
not big.
wants to have a full-on conversation, you're turning your head quay the next way and they're still leaning over to talk to you.
And you're like, how are
please.
you hearing them? You're not even paying attention
and
to
you know
like,
we've all done that.
But you don't hear anything.
yeah, you don't.
Oh my god, you can't say pardon. You know,
Yeah. Come, West, get me quick.
Taking advantage.
I got another one.
Yeah, come on. We want to get your perspective as much as we can.
What's one thing you wish your friends knew about your mental health but haven't said out loud?
It's a good one.
You're picking some good ones.
I suppose do men talk about mental health, Des?
They're starting to more now because I think, in my experience, we've had a couple of boys who've just suddenly gone from being cool and then next thing you see them on road and, you know, it's 60 degrees outside or you're hot and they're wearing full coat and you're like, yo, did you see so-and-so? They're like, yeah. And they don't want to talk about it. So that means it sparks a conversation amongst us to say, yo, listen, if something's bothering you, just hit man up and we'll talk about it. And I think it's becoming a thing where more and more men are starting to talk about it because, you know, I had the experience when I was in school, 13, 14, and one of my friends killed himself. And he was at a young age and he changed his mind, but it was just like, wow. And at that age, we didn't really comprehend it. And now as you get older, you're thinking, wow, what must he going through to think that he would just get to those levels? And it's just when we now have to have that kind of important conversation with each other to say, dude, are you all right? Just even saying, are you all right? Is hopefully enough for them to say, yeah, let me talk about something. But we do need to keep having it because obviously there's a stigma from when you grow up. Big boys don't cry and all that stuff and everything like that. And it's just like, no, man do cry. I've seen them crying. And I think it's healthy that men are able to show their emotions these days.
Yeah.
You know, although they're still going to get cussed by someone. Like, this boy's soft, man. Why are you always crying? But, you know, you have to ignore that one and just say, look, dude, are you all right? Because it does happen. And, you know, I lost too many friends through that and go through that experience.
Especially around COVID time, we would
Yeah.
have seen. And actually, it's probably from COVID time that we started to see more conversations happening about people's mental health because it became people got a sense of what it was like for people in their living room or in their home because actually a lot of communication was done by teams and you know there was times where you had to talk about, you know, I remember having a conversation and people were talking about whether they wanted to come into the office or not and people would then have to kind of give reasons why actually it felt safer for them to come into the office even though they might have been vulnerable because actually they were worried about their mental health and not having that space in their home environment. So I think it got conversations starting, but I know we touched on it on the previous episode, or you know that there's still lots of work to do for men around just kind of being more open and communicating.
Yeah, and I think it's about kind of getting it in for the next generation because I'm very open. I'm a mother of boys, so I'm very open with them in regards to communicating their emotions, how they're feeling, and getting it out. I think it's important for, yes, there's lots of work to be done, but we can still start doing it with the next generation where things feel easier for them to talk about things because they're learning it at home in regards to what an emotion is. Like I'll have my 5-year-old say, Mummy, do you know I was angry? That's an emotion. I'll be like, you're right. That was an emotion. Why was you angry? And giving them the space to talk. And from a Caribbean perspective as well, the whole shutdown of you know, like children should be seen and not heard, and kind of shutting them up. I don't believe in that, and I think because I experienced that as a child in regards to the same, you know, old Caribbean settings, big people come and you need to leave the room, or an adult would say something, and if I disagreed, I was known as the bad breed pygmy because I was the one who would say like, but I didn't agree with that, and then feel like an adult would have got overruled over me because I'm a child, not because the information I'm given is wrong, and because I experienced that, I've been so intentional with my sons in regards to kind of having a space to say their view and even disagree with me if you like, but make sure you can tell me why. It's just teaching them that rationale. You can say that you don't agree with what I'm saying, but why don't you agree with what I'm saying? Be able to articulate that to me. So we need to do it with the next generation as well. Yeah,
I agree. I mentioned this on the last episode. I feel like there's still that conflict for them where we're showing them something different, but they're still confronted with these older versions of masculinity. So they're kind of experiencing a different way, but they're kind of like, isn't this what a man or masculinity looks like? So they're going to have to navigate and do some of that for themselves in terms of how will they show up. At least they've got that other language though, which is you know what we heard is that men tend to internalize their feelings. They're not really expressive, but at least we're giving them that other way out.
Agreed.
There's this program that it's a drama. It's not real, but I think it's called The Chi. I don't know if anyone's only watched it. So it's based in Chicago, and it's just talking about people's experiences. But there's this group of black men where somebody becomes unwell and is struggling with their mental health, and they form this group where they all come together about once or twice a week, where they all just come with their drinks and they're just talking about what's been happening in their life, but actually they recognise it's a space for them to just talk. I just would love to know. I know some of these things you see on TV, but sometimes I think they get these stories from somewhere, right? And I would just love to know, like, how many men just group together. I know sometimes the commonality might be sport, but actually there is, on that particular program, it's not sport. They are coming to kind of talk about their well-being, and you know, and some of them will drink and some of them will not, but I just always kind of think about, that would be, you know, that would be a nice space for men to know that it's safe to be able to, you're coming there to share what's happening in your life.
And there's no judgment.
And we do that. We do that. You know, we look at it, what are you doing? Yeah, listen, we're going to link on Friday and we're going to go out. And it's not necessarily to do anything, go club or anything. It's just, we're going to go out, eat some food and chat about what's been going on for us.
Oh, nice.
And we do that. It's just like, it may not be as regular as we want it to do because family life and things get in the way, but it's just like, what do you say? What are you doing next Friday? I'm not doing anything. All right, call him and come with him. And in fact, actually, I've got to remember, I've got one to do soon. But yeah, we do that, and we just chat about what's going on because some of our boys go through some stuff. You know, and you need and even if they're not going to say much about it, it's just the fact you're in that space where you can just be cool and not have to think about too tough. But then if you want to talk about it, then we'll explore it.
Okay, so I'm going to really put you on the spot here. But, and just because I know that we're coming to end, but if there was any advice that you could kind of give to anybody, like any males that were kind of thinking about their mental health or thinking about their friendship groups, is there anything that you know works for you that you would recommend others do?
Talk to your friends. Reach out. Don't be too proud not to accept any help. Because I think a lot of time we get locked in like, oh man, I look soft. No, you don't. You look soft when you don't get no help. For me, that's my way. Is you look soft, you don't get it. A strong man or a strong man gets that help and says, listen, I'm not feeling too good. You know, I need to speak to my friends then, and reach out to your friends because it could be just that 2 minutes that could stop them from teetering over the edge. You know, and then we all big people. We all need to express ourselves, and it's also about the younger ones seeing that, oh, right, you know, Dad's normally quite strong and everything, but he's actually looking for some help, because we need to role model that to all the other generations, because the way that our young boys are coming up right now, they're real toxic and they feel they need to do this and they need to pose this, they need to back out this and they need to do that, when really all you need to do is just talk, you know? Because I see some of the skits out there where there's the one where they got the guys like, and it becomes a thing, like, yeah, I'm going to see you, and they say, but actually, you know what? I actually found that what you said was quite intelligent right there, and we need to do more of that because we need to use our words, because they don't use their words enough. And I always say to my young people, use your words. It's all right to feel angry, tough and everything, but talk about it.
Okay.
Because otherwise you could be heading off
Yeah.
a big explosion or violence or anything else.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Des. I definitely think we're gonna have you back
I think
on.
this has to come back.
Yeah, oh,
Yes.
definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I love having that male
energy.
perspective. I don't know,
Yeah.
you know, don't get me wrong, Dad, we miss you, just in case that we haven't filled your seat. But it's nice to kind of have a different perspective that isn't just necessarily about a youngers. And I think it's been so great having you here today, especially in light of the fact that it's Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, and actually you just kind of giving your own tips on what works. That's been fabulous. So I'm going to say it's a bye from me. Thank you. Coming to the end of Laptops and Drinks.
And it's bye for me, Shads.
Bye for me, Anne-Marie.
And bye from me, Davina.
Peace out, Des.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.